Welcome to Virtual Story Time with Miss B. Let us begin by counting a very familiar fruit. What does this look like? You got it. It's an apple. One apple. Two apples. Three apples. Four. Five apples. Six apples. Seven apples. More. Eight apples. Nine apples. 10 apples in a pie. Please give me a piece or I might cry. I cry, you cry, we all cry for apple pie. I do love apple pie. It is good almost any time of day. Well, it is apple season, and today's story time is all about apples. When we hear the words apple, we usually think of something that is red and shiny, just like this apple. But when you go to the store or the food bank or the farmer's market, you will see that there are all kinds of different apples, different sizes, colors, they even have their own names. So for example, this one is called a Red Delicious. Shiny and red and probably very delicious. But then we also have this apple. What color is this apple? Yes, it's green. It's not red. It's a green apple, and this is a Granny Smith apple. And this apple is very good for baking in pies. And then we have this apple. It's not green. It's got red, but also if you turn it around, you notice, what color do you see? Yellow. This is a Honey Crisp apple. It's got a little bit of red and yellow on it, and it's very, very good. And then another apple I have is this one. It's red, and if you look at it, you can see little bits of yellow dots on it. This is called a Cosmic Crisp apple. And this apple is very special because in Washington State, this is the only place that is growing Cosmic Crisp apples. And we live in Washington State, so this is a pretty special apple. And another fun thing about this apple is if you bite into it or you chop it up and then you forget to finish it, it doesn't turn brown. Did you know that? So, interesting facts about different kinds of apples. So when next time you and your family go out to get some food, look for all the different kinds of apples you can see. How many can you find? Do you know where apples grow? If you said on an apple tree, you are correct. The story I'm going to present now is about an apple tree, a little apple tree who makes a big wish, and it takes quite a while for the wish to come true. And the name of the story is Little Apple Tree's Big Wish. Once upon a time, there was a little apple tree. It was no bigger than a sapling, but it didn't mind being small. It enjoyed being part of the big apple orchard and being among the older, bigger trees. It loved seeing the pretty apple blossoms for the first time. It loved watching the sun rise and set and feeling the heat on its branches and leaves. It enjoyed meeting the birds who would fly overhead and land on its branches for a chat. including Wise Bird, one of the little apple tree's favorite birds to talk to. But what the little apple tree loved most about being in the orchard was at night, when it could see all the stars twinkling and winking above. The little apple tree could watch the stars all night. One day, Wise Bird stopped by to say hello. "Hello, little apple tree. How are you today?" "I'm fine, Wise Bird. Did you see the sky last night?" "Oh, no, I didn't. I was sleeping in my nest. What did you see?" "Oh, Wise Bird, the stars were extra beautiful and twinkly last night. It was amazing. I wish I could have a star of my very own." "Well," said Wise Bird, "you just work on growing big and strong, and I bet you will get your wish." The little apple tree shivered with excitement at the thought of someday having a star of its own. The seasons passed, spring into summer into fall. The little apple tree grew and grew and grew. Slowly, but it was growing every day. Fall became winter, and winter became spring. And before the little apple tree knew it, apple blossoms were blooming all over it. As spring became summer, the apple blossoms became, yes, apples. By the end of summer, apples were hanging off of the little apple tree, ready to pick. Wise Bird came by and said, "Hello, little apple tree. Look how much you have grown. Your apples look ready for harvest." It was true. The little apple tree wasn't a sapling anymore. It had grown taller and wider and stronger. "I have grown a lot, but my wish for a star hasn't come true," the not-so-little apple tree said. "Oh, yes it has," said the Wise Bird. "You have a whole tree full of stars." "I do?" "Yes, I will show you." Would you like to see how the little apple tree's wish came true? And that is how the little apple tree got its own star. I love the ending to that story. There are a lot of foods made with apples. How many can you come up with? Ask your grown-up to stop the video for a moment and make a list together of all the foods you can come up with that are made out of apples. Then restart the video. How many foods did you come up with? I came up with apple pie, applesauce, apple juice, apple cider, apple strudel, apple cake, apple crisp, apple butter. That's 8 different foods. How many did you come up with? Now let's pretend we are apple trees. Everyone stand up and then stretch your tree branches up in the air as tall as you can. And then you might make little fists to represent apples. And the rhyme goes like this. Way up high in an apple tree sat 2 little apples smiling down at me. I shook that tree just as hard as I could. Down came the apples. They were good. Okay, let's use some different colored apples. Can you tell me what color these are? Yes, 2 red little apples. Ready? Here we go. Way up high in an apple tree sat two little red apples smiling down at me. I shook that tree just as hard as I could, and down came the red apples. They were good. All right, what is the next color? Yes, pink. Way up high in an apple tree sat two little pink apples smiling down at me. I shook that tree just as hard as I could, and down came the apples. They were good. All right, let's see what's the next one. What color apples are these? Green, you got it. All right, here we go, one more time. Way up high in an apple tree sat two little green apples smiling down at me. I shook that tree just as hard as I could, and down came the apples. They were good. Well, I hope you enjoyed my apple story time. And now, everybody wave high. Everybody wave low. I think it's time for us to go. Wave your hair, wave your lips, wave your nose, and wave your hips. Wave your arms, wave your eyes, wave your hands, and say bye-bye. And I don't know about you, but Apple Storytime has made me very hungry, so I think I'm going to have some apple pie. All right, have a good day, everybody, and go out there and eat some apples.